Hello, everyone. I think you all hear me. Is any problem with my voice or my screen? I think you all hear me, yeah? Okay. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm really delighted to have you with us, and I appreciate you taking time to join us. Yes, today we will together for 1 hour for the subject of understanding the synergy between ISO 27001 and the GDPR. Yes, as you well know, with growing digital transformation and data security concerns, frameworks of ISO 27001 and GDPR offer invaluable guidance on safeguarding personal data and ensuring organizational resilience. Yes, I'm quite aware that we have a lot to talk about this topic till tomorrow morning, maybe, yeah. But within the period of 1 hour, I will try to focus on basic topics of these frameworks. That's why in today's session, we will dive into key compliance controls, best practices, and real-world case studies to help you navigate this complex landscape. And let's get started. But firstly, I want to introduce ourselves briefly. CFE CERT was accredited by both the UK Accreditation Service and the International Accreditation Service and operates in numerous countries, offering a wide range of comprehensive services. CFE CERT specializes in providing a variety of vital services to organizations across various sectors. Their offerings encompass gap analysis, trainings, audit, and certification services in the areas such as information security, business continuity, IT service management, quality management, GDPR, and personal data management systems. As the CFE CERT Academy, we organize here as well webinars and training sessions, especially for ISO standards and other related subjects. Let me introduce myself very briefly to you. Yes, my name is Ali Atlahan, and one of the training team member of CFE certification. I was graduated from Gazi University in Turkey in 1997. I studied public finance with general law. After nearly 20 years of experience as an auditor and executive in public sector, now I have been acting as a trainer of CFE CERT. And again, I'm really happy to be here today on the occasion of this webinar for such an important topic. Please keep your questions till the end and I will gratefully try to answer them, okay? And here also, I want to inform you that for the participants who will stay till the end of the webinar, CFE CERT would proudly prepare a participation certificate with you and send it to your emails. Okay. Yes, everyone, let me show you the agenda of my presentation today first. I will begin with a brief story of GDPR, evolving from the Data Protection Directive, and we will cover GDPR principles and what's new, and talk about the GDPR's influence extends beyond EU, affecting business worldwide. And of course, I want to remind you briefly of the general information about ISO 27001 standards and ISO 27701 as the extension of the 27001. Then we will then we will handle how they work together with GDPR, how they cooperate. And then we'll explore the link between ISO 27000 and 27701, which builds on security by privacy controls. By the key controls for GDPR compliance, we will have overviewed some measures. And finally, we'll discuss implementing and monitoring compliance with best practices and case studies. Yes, let's start very first with GDPR, as I said. GDPR launched a new era, not only in Europe, but also in the world along with its scope. Yes, it's obvious that GDPR was born after a long legislative process, for personal data protection. Within this process, in 1981, the Convention number 108 was adopted by the Council of Europe as the first international treaty focused on protecting individuals' privacy in data processing. This basically laid the groundwork for modern data protection laws. Then in 1995, the EU introduced the Directive 95/46, which is known as the Data Protection Directive. This was a significant step forward harmonizing data protection laws across member states, allowing for a free flow of data while safeguarding privacy rights. However, it resulted in consistencies due to varying implementations. Finally, in 2016, the General Data Protection Regulation, or as we say in short, GDPR, was established, replacing the directive with a single uniform regulation across the EU. The GDPR expanded individual rights, increased obligations for all organizations, and introduced strict penalties for non-compliance. Yes, it became enforceable on May of 25 in 2018 and applies to any organization processing the data of EU citizens, regardless of where the organization is based. This is very, very crucial, everyone. Yes, now GDPR applies to any organization processing the data of EU citizens or EU residents, regardless of where the organization is based. This is very, very crucial. Yeah, we can now definitely say that along with GDPR, a new era has begun regarding not only to data protection, but also economic activities in the world. Because the scope of GDPR encompasses both establishment and targeting criteria. By this opportunity, let me remember the scope of the GDPR so as to understand why GDPR is so important. Yeah, established criteria refers to the regulation's applicability to any organization that has a physical presence in the EU. As you can see from the slide, Volkswagen, Total, or Shell, or some other companies mainly operating in the EU are within the scope of GDPR. And targeting criteria emphasize that GDPR applies to any organization, even those outside the EU, if they directly provide goods or services to the EU residents or intentionally targeted or profile individuals within the EU. This ensures comprehensive protection for EU citizens' personal data, regardless of the organization's location. So, this means that any company, even established outside the EU, but directly offering goods or services to EU residents, cannot ignore the provisions related to data protection. Everyone, this is a very, very striking point. Yeah, in this section, we'll explore the key principles laid down in GDPR regarding to personal data processing. The very first principle is lawfulness and fairness and transparency. This means that personal data must be processed lawfully, fairly, and in a transparent manner, ensuring that individuals are informed about how their personal data is used. And purpose limitation is another principle. Data can only be collected or specified legitimate purposes and cannot be processed in a way that is incompatible with those purposes. Only the minimum amount of personal data necessary for the intended purpose should be collected and processed. This principle is called data minimization. And we have the accuracy principle now. Organizations must ensure the personal data they process is correct and reflects the actual situation. And the fifth one is integrity and confidentiality. Personal data must be processed securely to protect against unauthorized access, loss, or damage. And the last one is accountability. Organizations are responsible for demonstrating compliance with GDPR principles, yeah, and must be able to show how they adhere to these requirements. These are all the principles laid down in GDPR. So, as I said that, GDPR was established after the directive, so there should be some inventions, yeah? So, what's new with GDPR? Now, we'll remember the key innovations introduced by GDPR with compared to EU directive. Along with GDPR now, organizations are required to maintain detailed records of their data processing activities, enhancing, enhancing the principle of transparency and expanded scope. Yeah, as I already mentioned, GDPR's applicability extends beyond EU-based companies to any organization processing data of EU citizens regardless of location. And another new topic for us, enhanced individual rights. Now, individuals enjoy their stronger rights, including the right to access their data, to rectify inaccuracies, and request erasure, etc. In GDPR, there are nearly 8 or 9 rights specifically laid down in GDPR. And responding to data subject requests, everyone. Yes, now organizations must respond to data subject requests within 30 days, ensuring timely access to personal data. Yes, this means that now you cannot ignore any applications to your company who are seeking information for personal data. This is very, very important. And data protection impact assessment on the data protection officer. Both these topics are also new things for the organizations. Now, certain organizations are mandated to appoint a DPO to oversee their data protection compliance and serve as a point of contact. And data protection impact assessment is also a new thing along with GDPR. Organizations must now conduct DPIAs for high-risk processing activities to identify and mitigate potential privacy risks. And as you know well, nowadays we hear a lot of news about data breach events. So now, in the event of a breach, organizations are required to notify relevant authorities within 27 hours with a prompt action. Data processor is among the new things now in GDPR. The regulation defines clear responsibilities for data processors, making them accountable for data protection compliance. And the last one, everyone, increased penalties. Yes, now GDPR introduces significant penalties for non-compliance, with fines reaching up to 20 million euros or 4% of annual global turnover of a company. This is a very, very striking point. Now, it's time to talk about ISO 27001. Yeah, maybe this standard is most well known or the most common international standard for information security management systems, ISMS in short. These standards, formally adopted in 2005, it basically outlines a systematic approach to managing sensitive company information, ensuring its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But in 2022, ISO 27001 was significantly updated, and now it reflects evolving security challenges, including enhanced requirements for risk assessment and management and improved integration with other management system standards. These updates aim to help organizations better address emerging threats and strengthen their overall security posture. By adopting ISO 27001, yes, we can say that organizations can not only protect their data, but also build trust with clients and their stakeholders. Yeah, as I mentioned before about the updates of 27001, now in this slide, I want to talk about new updates. Yeah, in 2022, ISO 27001 underwent significant updates to align with evolving cybersecurity risks. The primary change was in Annex A, where 93 controls were organized into 4 categories as organizational, people, physical, and technological categories. Now here you see a smart chart demonstrating basic updates in 2022. Sorry. As you can easily see that the name of the standard changed with the addition of cybersecurity and privacy. But for me, maybe the most striking point is the number of controls decreased to 93 to make the framework more streamlined and focused. And now there are new 11 controls added to Annex A, including those for threat intelligence, data leakage prevention, and cloud security, reflecting the growing importance of these areas in information security management. These updates ensure ISO 27001 remains relevant and effective for more modern cybersecurity challenges. Yes, even it's not mentioned in the title of our webinar, I thought that I cannot move on without handling ISO 27701 standards for privacy information management system. Yes, with compared to ISO 27001, these standards basically outline a framework for personally identifiable information. And to sum up the information about the standards, we can say that ISO 27701 is an extension of 27001 and specifically designed to address privacy information management. And lastly, it provides a structured framework for organizations to comply with privacy regulations like GDPR by enhancing their existing information security management system with detailed guidance on managing PIA. Its importance lies in its role as a bridge between security and privacy, ensuring not only that data is secure, but also that personal data is handled in line with privacy laws. Yes, to my experience, now I should say that without ISO 27701, your approach to privacy under GDPR remains incompatible, guys. Yeah. So, after these definitions, let's move on to the link between those standards. Yeah. While ISO 27000 focuses on protecting information assets and information in general, ISO 27701 adds to that by specifying how to handle personal data in a way that complies with privacy laws like GDPR. And organizations that implement ISO 27000 will automatically find it easier to integrate this standard as they share common security controls and risk management principles. Now, together, they help businesses strengthen both information security and privacy management, creating a robust system that addresses today's data protection challenges. In short, ISO 27701 extends and complements ISO 27001, making it ideal standard for organizations looking to meet both security and privacy requirements. Now, time to talk about key controls of ISO 27001 and 27701, respectively, matching with GDPR provisions. Let's dive into the alignment between ISO 27001 with the latest version and GDPR, focusing on some key controls, everyone. Yes, starting with the control 8.5, this aligns perfectly with GDPR's core principles, ensuring that policies are in place for secure and lawful processing of personal data. This is foundational to any compliance effort. And next, we have Control 8.52 and A63. This address accountability under the GDPR, which requires a clear commitment from management and assigns specific roles for ensuring data security. These controls help organizations demonstrate their compliance efforts and commitment to protecting personal data. Then we have a control number 8.5.8 and 8.8 and 12. This is matching with the Article 25 of GDPR. This focuses on the principle of privacy by design. These controls encourage the development of robust data protection policies and secure data handling from the very start. And lastly, everyone, we have the Control 8.5.17, which focuses on incident management, also aligns with Article 13 and 33 and 34 of GDPR. This requires organizations to have mechanisms in place to handle data breaches, notify authorities within 72 hours, and communicate also with affected individuals when necessary. Yeah. Now, we have also still some other controls matching with GDPR. Yes, Control 8.58, which deals with the management of data protection and privacy, we see a clear alignment with Article 30 of the GDPR, because this article requires organizations to maintain records of processing activities. So, by implementing 8.5.8, companies now ensure that they are effectively managing data protection through well-defined policies and processes, such as documenting how personal data is collected, how it is used, and where it is stored, etc. And next, we have another control, 8.5.23, which is focusing on the management of suppliers, ties directly to Article 28 of GDPR, which is outlining processors' obligations under the GDPR. This control mainly ensures that when companies outsource data processing, they have contracts in place to make sure their processors are compliant with GDPR, particularly around maintaining appropriate security standards. Yeah, you can see also more mapping between GDPR and the controls. Yes, by mapping these specific controls to GDPR requirements, organizations build a robust framework for managing data privacy, ensuring that they are both compliant with international standards and fulfilling regulatory obligations. Now, in this section, I want to talk about the mapping between 27701 and GDPR. Yeah, there are many controls that matching with GDPR articles as well here. Therefore, I will share with you the more striking ones here. First, within ISO 27701, the control A.7.3.1 focuses on data subject rights, which directly corresponds to GDPR Article 16 through 20. These articles cover key individual rights such as the right to rectification, erasure, right to restriction of processing, right to data portability, or right to objections. And next, the control 8.7.3.1, this ensures that organizations have processes in place to respect and enforce these rights, providing a clear framework for addressing data subject requests and ensuring compliance with GDPR's individual right provisions as well. Now, and next, Control A.7.2.2 aligns with GDPR Article 6, which addresses the lawfulness of processing. This control ensures that organizations have a legal basis for collecting and processing personal data, whether based on consent, contract, legitimate interest, or legal obligations. This control ensures that data processing activities are conducted within the legal grounds specified by GDPR, maintaining the lawfulness of all data handling practices. Now, moving on to control 8.7.1. Yes, this control is about privacy by design and by default, which directly aligns with GDPR Article 25. Yes, Article 25 requires that organizations implement data protection principles from the outset of any system or process design. Yes, in this slide, here you can see other matching controls with GDPR articles. Finally, the control 8.8.2.3 deals with branch notifications and align with GDPR articles 13 and 33 and 34. Yeah, these articles set out the obligations for notifying supervisory authorities and affected individuals in the event of a data breach. And finally, everyone, we have another control. The control 8.8, 2, and 3 ensures that organizations have a clear incident management process in place to quickly identify, assess, and report breaches within the required 27-hour period, fulfilling GDPR's requirements for prompt and transparent breach notification. Yes, we can say that together with the controls in previous slide, also all those ISO 27701 controls almost bearing the same titles, as you can see, align closely with GDPR. These are all helping organizations to build a robust data protection framework that ensures legal compliance while protecting the privacy rights of individuals. So, how is the implementation process of all these standards? Yeah, as we talked, we have 3 different disciplines. So, how would be the implementation process? Or what are the key actions? In other words, what would be the understanding to comply with all these legislations together? Yeah, we handle this question based on 2 titles, guys. First one is best practices. Now we have a risk-based approach now. Along with risk-based approach, now the companies focus on areas where data breach or security risks are highest and tailor controls to mitigate those risks. And then we have documentation and record keeping. So this helps organizations to maintain clear records of all data processing activities as required by GDPR and align them with ISO 27001's documentation's needs. And maybe the very important topic here is that regular training, because organizations educate their staff on data protection responsibilities to foster a culture of security awareness. Yeah, all these actions mean, in other words, technical and organizational measures. I think we would better overview this subject even short in this webinar. In next slide, guys, I will talk about this subject. And the second action topic is monitoring. The organizations conduct internal audits to ensure controls are effectively implemented and identify areas for improvements. And also, the organizations use key performance indicators to track compliance metrics such as incident response times or audit findings. Here, yeah. Now, as I said, I want to talk about technical and organizational measures. So, what do you need to have to ensure the security for the data? Yeah, the answer is, of course, technical and organizational measures, which is specifically laid down in the Article 32 of GDPR. But I want to emphasize a word, everyone. Please, I want you to focus on the word which is in red in this text. Because I'm always asked by my counterparts that this term is so general, so what sort of measures should a company implement? Because as you see the text, it says that the controller and the processor shall implement appropriate technical and organizational measures to ensure a level of security appropriate to the risk, including inter alia as appropriate. So here is a key feature for the measures appropriate. GDPR specifically emphasized the need for appropriate technical and organizational measures, highlighting that companies cannot follow a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, companies must adopt a tailor-made solutions that address their specific data processing activities and risks, ensuring these measures are proportionate to the scale, maybe the scope, or the sensitivity of the personal data that they handle. Because as you know, there are various companies acting in different sectors which are all in different scales, like SMEs, like big companies, groups. So that's why GDPR emphasizes the need for appropriate technical organizational measures. And naturally, we see the same concept also in the controls of ISO 27701 standards. As you see in some examples of controls, it's obviously stated that the level of the scope of the measures should be determined as appropriate again here. The term appropriate is crucial because organizations are required to design tailor-made solutions that suit their specific context, as I said previously, considering factors such as the nature of data being processed, the risks involved, and the organization size and structure. According to this standard, the solutions must be adapted to the individual's needs and risks of the company, ensuring the data protection is both effective and proportionate to the potential threats faced. So, after all these measures, after all these standards, so how companies benefit from implementing ISO 27000 and GDPR? Now, I want to show you two different cases as an example. In the first case, everyone, please imagine a mid-sized company successfully integrated ISO 27000 controls, resulting in a 30% reduction in data breach incidents. Yes, by integrating these controls, this company focused on enhancing its data security measures, such as access control, encryption, and incident management, etc. The systematic approach provided by ISO helped identify vulnerabilities, improve response times, and enforce stronger security policies across the organization. As a result, the company saw a significant 30% reduction in the data breach incidents within a year. This success demonstrates how aligning ISO 27001 standards with GDPR requirements can not only bolster compliance, but also tangibly improve data protection. And in second case, guys, now we have a financial institution who used ISO 27001 to streamline GDPR compliance, achieving faster audit clearances and enhancing customer trust. Yes, by adopting the standards, the institution was able to streamline its compliance process. Key ISO 27001 controls, such as continuous risk assessment and privacy by design principles, were implemented to align closely with GDPR standards. This only facilitated faster audit clearances, but also significantly enhanced customer trust by demonstrating a commitment to protecting personal data. The outcome was improved here regulatory compliance, maybe the fewer audit delays, or a stronger reputation in the marketplace. So now here, this is our last slide before the end, guys. So for the conclusion, the question is how to build a data environment. Yes, in today's data-driven world, aligning GDPR compliance with robust ISO 27000 controls not only ensures legal compliance, but also fosters trust, security, and resilience in the digital economy, but also safeguarding personal data and creating a sustainable privacy culture. This means you should first be aware of what sort of data you are engaged in. So this means that you need to categorize what sort of data you are collecting or how many personal or other data you are handling. And then consider the relevant measures to provide a robust protection or shield. Yes, by doing this, you will have automatically identified and mitigate the risks that you are exposed to. And finally, you will have developed adaptive systems to withstand future security threats and created a sustainable privacy culture. This ties together the importance of both GDPR and ISO 27001 while emphasizing the benefits of integration. Yes, now I want to thank you for your participation again. And now I'm here to answer your questions. Or if you would like to make contribution, then we would gratefully listen to. Any question? Yeah, it seems everyone understands well, so this is very good for me. Yes, guys. And also, I want to remind you that we will share a link with you. This is like an open quiz. And please, we are requesting from you, please, to enter this link to fill this form. And then, as I said before, we will share a participation certificate with you. And hope you enjoyed this webinar. And maybe we will meet you in another webinar for a different subject again. If you don't have any question, I want my admin to end the session. Thank you also, Mr. Mehmet Gökdeniz. Yes. Now, again, I would like to thank you all for your participation and hope to see you again. Bye.